A meeting between Donald Trump's envoy to Ukraine and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has ended with a cancelled press conference. Trump's envoy Keith Kellogg was in Kyiv to discuss the conditions for further US military support. Zelenskyy recently rejected a proposal that would give the US access to Ukraine's mineral resources as payment for its support. The tensions have escalated into a war of words between Zelenskyy and US President Donald Trump. Well, in his nightly address, Zelenskyy called the talks with Kellogg productive despite the cancelled press conference.
General Kellogg, our talks restore hope. We need strong agreements with America, agreements that will really work. I gave instructions to work fast and very much even-handedly. Economic interests and security interests should always go together.
Well, the meeting with the US's Ukraine envoy Keith Kellogg came after Trump called Zelenskyy a dictator for not holding elections while the war continues. I asked Kristine Berzina from the German Marshall Fund in Washington how damaged relations are between Ukraine and the United States.
The last day has been very difficult for ties between Kyiv and Washington. The shift in Washington to apparently holding Ukraine responsible for the war rather than Russia has been very tough and resulted in a slew of back and forth tough language between Zelenskyy and Trump. But it's very encouraging that Kellogg had his meeting with Zelenskyy today, because besides what we see on Truth Social or on short sound bites, having significant and deep conversations about what Ukrainians want, what is on the table in any peace negotiation is absolutely essential. And the big thing that has been absent over the last week have been deeper conversations between the administration and the Ukrainians on what should be coming next. And this comes in the context of incredibly fast preparations for high-level talks between Trump and Putin on this war. Talks that at the moment may not include Ukraine or Europeans present. And so again, making sure that Ukrainian opinions, Ukrainian needs are well understood and well included is paramount.
Well, Kristine, as well, Zelenskyy said that the talks gave hope for a potential agreement with Washington. Is this also, does this refer as well to this minerals deal that the US wants to get over the line? Is that now a possibility, or is it in serious jeopardy?
The minerals deal is one important part of the negotiations between Washington and Kyiv on the peace deal. Something that is very important besides speed for President Trump to resolve the war is also the question of who pays, and whether Ukraine is essentially indebted to the United States for past aid given, or whether the minerals will provide further aid are really key considerations. And so I would assume that the minerals deal is an important part of the conversations today.
Let's bring in European leaders. You touched on it there just before. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and the French President Emmanuel Macron are looking into the idea of sending European troops as peacekeepers to Ukraine. Would that actually be a scenario, though, that Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, would ever actually agree to?
I don't know how much agreement is necessary. President Putin is also threatening Europeans and NATO actively and presenting this war as a war against NATO. And so I feel as though only taking into account Russian purported red lines in terms of what could come next is not going to give a good deal to Ukrainians or Europeans. And so I certainly hope that that isn't top of the agenda to limit the activities of what Europe and Ukraine can do.
Now, there's been a lot of talk about European support to Ukraine. Could Europe fill the void in terms of support to Ukraine if the US were to withdraw its support?
Europe is definitely stepping up its abilities and is also talking about the peacekeepers. So perhaps it can provide a different kind of support to Ukraine than the US would be willing to give. There is no easy one-for-one replacement from the United States, and the question of arms production and what is available in military stores is very acute. But certainly Europeans can do more, and Europeans can also do things like supporting Ukrainian production of weapons and letting Ukrainians arm themselves and Europe in the future. That is something that Europe can do.
Great to have your analysis there, Kristine. Kristine Berzina of GMF Geostrategy North joining us tonight from Washington, D.C. Thanks.
Thank you.